So I was in the lab for about 3 years, just over 3 years. And I really didn't want to do that for my entire career. I wanted to get onto the business side of things. And I was actually talking to my dad, and he said, "You should go into sales. You'd be good at it." And I was like, "What? I mean, Dad, come on." Like, when I was a kid, my dad had introduced me to a friend of his, like when I was just a little kid. And I was painfully shy. My brother was the performer, and I know that you know that because he's a musician and all that stuff.
Yep, seen the
My
videos.
brother was the outgoing one, not me. And I remember my dad said, "Listen, all you have to do is shake his hand, look him in the eye, and say, 'Good to meet you,' and then you can go back and crawl under the table." Even though I wasn't that painfully shy at that stage. In terms of speaking in front of a group of people that I didn't know, even more scary is speaking in front of your peers or presenting in front of your peers.
Yep.
It just wasn't my thing. I'm good in small groups, but I've never been the kind of guy to run a room or feel comfortable like that. Some of our bosses have been at Biotechny. Some of my mentors have been like that. Never been comfortable in that. So I was sort of astounded when my dad said, "You should try sales, you'd be good at it." And I was like, "Well, why do you think that?" And he said, "Because you tell it like it is. So you're no BS kind of person. And it would be a breath of fresh air because whether you're trying to buy a car, whether you're trying to buy a house, everybody is always in it for their end. And while you would obviously be in it for you, I can see that, you'd be looking to serving the customer and mainly telling them exactly like it is. This is the product. This is what it can do for you." And he thought I'd be good at it. So I took a shot and there was an opening. It was actually as kind of, at Biotechny, we had sales support people that helped the territory reps manage their territories on the inside.
Hmm.
That's kind of like what I was hired into that role, even though we had 6 sales reps in Minneapolis, all based out of there, traveling into their territories. When one of them would be visiting their territory, traveling or whatever, I would take over their territory on the inside. So that's where I got my start in sales, kind of in a support role. And I kind of got my break when two of the reps were traveling at the same time and I was able to handle their entire workload. And so that kind of opened the eyes to management. And when there was an opening for the Northeast, to the Northeast territory, Boston in particular, and so I had 7 states and 3 Canadian provinces, I was the guy. But one thing I really learned during that process, so I applied, I asked for the job initially for that support role. Well, when that job opened up for the Boston territory, I assumed my sales manager would just say, "Hey, I want to put you in this role." I was waiting for him to come to me. And
Mm.
after 2 days, he didn't. And the best lesson I ever learned in sales was from him because I knocked on his door and I basically was like, "What the hell?" Like, "You have the open
Y-
territory. I want it." And he was like, "I was waiting for you to come ask for me for it." And
Yeah,
he even said, like, "You don't get anything without asking." So that was my real first lesson in sales is you got to ask for the business. And I'll
that's
always think
awesome.